Hey there, it's Jessie here. Welcome back to the channel. Big warm welcome. If you're coming back, you know that I love you. And if you're completely new and you clicked on my face, I really do trust that there is a message in here that will benefit you. And I say that because before I start each video, I set the intention, which I'm going to share with you now. I watched a video the other day where somebody said their intentions at the beginning of their video, and it made me feel very safe to hear them. And I thought maybe I could share them with you guys too. So before each video, I set the intention to speak the truth of my heart. I set the intention to speak my current understanding in my personal truth from my heart, to communicate it authentically and with love. I also set the intention that this video will greatly benefit whoever it reaches for the highest and best of all concerned, however that looks like. And I trust that those intentions are honored, as that is the energy that I'm bringing to the video. So they are my intentions. Sometimes I also set the intention to entertain and to share joy or share something meaningful for whoever receives it in whatever way they need to. And I trust that, and then relinquish control in a way. And I set these intentions as well when I put the video out. And I just trust it reaches who it needs to for whatever reason. And the highest and greatest good of all beings in all places doesn't necessarily mean it's exactly what we want from a video each time. So I'm trusting as well that if this video reaches somebody who disagrees with me or is even triggered by something I say, that is for the highest and best good of that individual and all that it concerns. And I really trust that. I like having that as my intention because it makes me feel good, even if the video isn't received perhaps the way that my identity perspective would like it to be, that it's still serving a greater good. And I love being a part of serving the greater good, even though it's sometimes quite difficult. I feel like life has put me into roles where I'm greatly misunderstood. And that is for the highest and best for me, for my own journey and what that teaches me, and also for that person. Even though surface level, then I have an antagonistic interaction with somebody. I just trust, and it feels very comforting, whether it's true or not. We choose what we believe. So I find this a comforting belief. I do question sometimes when, having awareness of the beliefs that we choose, that we're somehow curating our perspective of a reality that makes us feel safe. My friend constantly says we see the world as we are, not as it is. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here. When we choose our beliefs, we're choosing to see and perceive the world in a way that makes us feel comfortable and safe, and that sometimes there can be limitations to doing that because maybe what makes us feel comfortable and safe isn't for our greatest expansion. It's making me think now, my biggest fear. What's your biggest fear? What is your biggest fear? Now, a few years ago at a New Year's party, these people rocked up after midnight, and they came to the house and they joined the party, and it was a great time. It was really nice to get this influx of new energy. And one girl said, she was asking everyone, what's your greatest fear? What's your greatest fear? I'm like, that's my kind of lady. And her greatest fear was not realizing her full potential in this lifetime. And it's stayed with me ever since. I think that is, if you're going to have a fear, for me, that really resonates as a good one to have, because there's motivation to realize your potential and acknowledge how it would feel on the deathbed to have not done that, to have not lived that. I think it's a nice North Star. And I would say I have that fear greater than I have the fear of death. Death is a very comforting thought to me, because in my belief system, only the body dies. I don't know exactly what happens, but Jessie dies, not something deeper or greater. The bigger part of what we're, the bigger whole of what we're a part of doesn't die. So it's, for me, is somewhat comforting, especially because I found life quite hard, honestly. I find it difficult and challenging in many ways, and I work tirelessly to come to conclusions and resolutions which help me digest it better and live it better. But death for me is comforting, that like I won't have to do this forever. And that's nice. It also makes me want to live more now, because it will end at some point. Now it's reminding me of, I'm just going to popcorn today. Of when I think I've shared this before, I'll share it again. For anyone new who hasn't heard it, hi. I was doing a module of this course up in the mountains, and we did a breathwork session. And in the breathwork session, if you manage to surrender and travel to different dimensions, just using the breath, which is quite incredible. And a lot of us did that. And when we were talking about the feedback afterwards, there was a number of people in the room that said they really didn't want to come back to this reality. They didn't want to come back here to their life, to all the suffering that happens in the world. Because when you're in dimensions of like infinite love and like possibility and instant manifestation, hey, where's the resistance? It's fun and it's easy. But my experience of it was very different. When I came back, I was so grateful to be back, because when I was wherever I was out there, wherever my consciousness was, it made it so apparent to me how short this life is. It's like going to the cinema to watch a movie, and then 3 hours later it ends and you're back on the street, and the movie's over, and you can talk about it and you think about it, but it made me think like this life is like that. When we get to our deathbed, it's over. When we're in that now moment that we're going to leave the body, it's over. It's going to feel like it happened so fast at that moment, I imagine. And so to have been able to leave and then come back, it was like, thank goodness. Because I love, the main thing I have to say is my twin sister. This is my lifetime with Zita as my twin. Special, very special. And then I thought about my family. This is my lifetime with these human beings, with these manifestations of consciousness that are very close to me in my life. I'm not going to get this chance again. I was so full of gratitude to be able to come back to this life and go, all right, well, let's just do the best we can while we're here, because it will all end one day. Like, remember, you're going to die. And not in a scary way, unless your biggest fear is fear of death, in which case, yeah, nice to somewhat prepare. This is what my mum is really into Buddhism. And she was telling me about how like their practice of non-attachment to the material world is actually preparation for death. So when it comes to the moment that you're going to leave the body, I don't think you die with the body. I think the body dies and the consciousness moves. That you're ready to do that. You hear these stories of people who die when the family members leave the hospital room because they find it hard to let go when there's people still attached to them being alive. And they go off to get crisps in the vending machine and they come back and they've died. I've heard like many stories where that's the case. Because they don't necessarily want to leave knowing how it's going to make the other person feel. Interpret that however you wish. But in this example, it's like we need to be prepared to leave the body and do it peacefully. I also have a belief system, if we're not ready to die, you can leave the body and not know that you're dead. I really think that. Like, I have had experiences with ghosts and spirits in my life, believe it or not, but in my experience, it's definitely happening. It's tangible for me in my experience. So I really do believe that there are ghosts or spirits or entities of many different forms around us in any given moment. And for some reason, I have a sensitivity to that. And so we can even die and not know that we've died. And there are some very confused ghosts out there with unresolved stuff because they weren't ready, to die, to leave. There's like a bazillion reasons why that might be. It could be like sudden death and you didn't know or whatever. But anyway, this is kind of like how I see the art of non-attachment. Well, how my mum told me how the Buddhists use it to prepare for that moment of death. So anyway, well, I've gone off on some tangents there, but yeah, I feel death is quite comforting. But getting to the point of death and feeling like I haven't actualized Jessie's desires is scary, because then I might not be as ready to leave. I guess maybe I need to practice non-attachment, not necessarily to death, but non-attachment to my desires. Oh, but it feels like such a shame not to realize our desires, doesn't it? I'm super inspired by people who are absolutely living their dream. I find that very inspiring, and it's what I'm diligently working towards every day with all of this that I do here, all of this analyzing, reflecting, going around in circles, getting stuck. It's all my way of finding freedom for myself so I can cultivate the life that I absolutely love in every way. And it's funny that I'm saying this now, but actually enjoy the barriers, enjoy the setbacks, enjoy every time I hit a wall and realize that I'm limited in that area still as an opportunity to go, okay, well, this is what I'm here to do. I didn't get it easy. No one did. Did they? Did anyone get it easy? Lucky bugger. I really don't think they did, though. I think everyone, if you're here on Earth, you wanted to learn something. Or maybe not, again, all my belief systems that give me comfort and meaning to life. And I really needed that. I think like it's my response to pain, and before I would make pain suffering. And I've learned to detach the two, that I can experience pain and I can change the perspective and not suffer for the reality, but how can I change my perspective on it and move towards more the reality I want. That's been really important process, but I've kind of lost the point in why I was saying that. So it must have been a lie. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there today. That was nothing of what I planned to say. So I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video if you liked it. Please let me know your thoughts down below. Get in touch. I would love to hear from you. Talk to each other. Read what people are saying. People are very wise in the comments, I'll tell you that. And if you are completely new and you like it and you see where this is going, you see its potential, thank you very much. Hit subscribe and come along on the journey with me for as long as it serves you. And the moment it stops serving you, feel free to leave. I wish not to be a burden upon your life. But if I am, it's your choice. All right, guys, have a beautiful day and a beautiful life. We have got this.